If every Christian in America had a passion for Christ like William Carey, this nation would be transformed overnight. Right now, I want you to meet one man who has just such a passion. Dr. Rick Scarborough is mobilizing pastors nationwide to speak out on the pressing moral issues of our day.
Why does a preacher get into politics?
Well, in all honesty, it's the last thing most preachers want to do, but we've finally, many of us, awakened to the fact that if we don't get involved, we're going to lose the country. Wherever I speak, I remind the listeners of the role the preachers played. I am a preacher, by the way, a pastor by calling, and I like to illustrate to them how biblical the form of government we have. There is no question about it. God not only gave us this country, but He led the men who founded it to build a biblically based government that the world has received the blessing from for all of these years until the last generation. You have to ask yourself the question, what next? Are we going to go now and reverse court previous decisions regarding the number of people involved in a marriage? Is polygamy next?
He's also concerned it could directly affect Texas and the state's legalization of same-sex marriage here.
Our God would move mightily. I mean, He would save this country if He found vehicles, hands, feet, mouths in the church that would stand up, speak up, and get the job done. And this is a small but important step toward the beginning of the end of abortion in America.
Human decency for the little child in the womb, who at some point, even those on the Supreme Court who made this horrific decision that Pastor Scarborough talked about, recognize that at some point this little child in the womb has to be given some rights.
Well, I'd cite the verse when Paul was standing before the Athenians, and he said, you know, God is made out of many nations, one people. But he said it is God who establishes boundaries. He establishes nations. We have boundaries. Our country was established as a nation built upon laws, and we cannot willy-nilly change the laws to accommodate the present condition.
Dr. Scarborough has also appeared on Larry King Live, Fox News, CBS Evening News, The Blaze with Glenn Beck, C-SPAN, National Public Radio, Focus on the Family, and featured in documentaries such as CNN's award-winning special, God's Warriors, and the HBO documentary, Friends of God. Even though these media appearances impact the culture, Pastor Rick still believes that the pastors in the pulpit are God's greatest agent of change.
Charles Finney said, if there is a decay of conscience, the pulpit is responsible for it. If the public press lacks moral discernment, the pulpit is responsible for it. If our politics become so corrupt that the very foundations of our government are ready to fall away, say it with me, the pulpit is responsible for it.